one of the cool things I get to do or have gotten to do in the last several years is go back to A&M. Since I live here in College Station, I get to go back and guest lecture at A&M and a couple of the departments there. And um, it's been interesting because when I started doing that, I went there talking about renewables and how Texas is the biggest, wind potential in the country and all this great stuff. And, I look back and 4 or 5 years later, I'm talking about very different technologies to those guys, right? I have to update my deck like
Yeah,
every,
absolutely. Well,
and so
most people don't realize that in 2023, from a distributed, so smaller size solar, Texas
yeah,
is number one now. It's
yeah,
now it doesn't have as large of install base as percentage per building, but Texas last year there was more adoption of just solar than any other state in the United States, and it was a lot more than the other states. So things are on
yeah.
fire down there.
It is, and what we're missing down here are some of the incentives, the tax incentives that other states have done a really good job with, and I hope to see that we do better at that because the potential is so vast.
Yeah.
We could do a lot of good with it here.
Yeah, there really is. My show emanates out of Colorado, and they do an excellent job. I have good relationships with the Colorado Energy Office. They do a lot of good things, and they're constantly releasing new incentives, tax credit programs, all at the state level, but it's really progressive. And I hope that more and more states, like you're saying, will adopt some of that. So anyway, I want to skip over to another question for you. You're working with a school district or university or whatever. Obviously, they don't have the budgets to do this all in one swap, one project, right? Okay. What does a project or relationship look like it would last, like total of an entity? What's that look like? I mean, is it a 2 year engagement with these people? Are you going through a 5 year plan, a 10 year plan? What does that engagement and relationship cycle look like with these entities?
Yeah, it can take on various forms with various terms, and I'll just say it largely depends on what the contracting mechanism is, and I can feel all your listeners' eyes start to glaze over as I say those words. So let me try to put a more interesting take on that. A lot of school districts will just have no capacity to pay for these things. Like I have $0 to pay for air conditioning and lights and stuff like that, and so in Texas and in a lot of other states, schools have the ability to levy bonds, right?
Yeah,
And some places call it millage or
yeah,
whatever that is. Uh, that goes to the public to vote on, and in many parts of Texas, that's a no go, right? That is a no go proposition. The citizenry are going to vote down on that, and
sure.
so what remedy do they have? A lot of school districts will say, okay, here's an arrangement, or we will say to them, I guess we'll come to terms with them. This arrangement is one where Centrix will supply the assets to you. Let's just say in a very rudimentary scenario, it's lighting.